Hey, it's February and it's insanely hot. Why? It's a culture detective here investigating your favorite Oscars. And today, it's the time of the year again. Yay! Hip hip hooray! It's Oscars prediction 2025 for movies that came out in 2024. So, yeah, it's February 28th, and in 2 days, the Oscar ceremony would be held. And of course, that means I need to do some predictions. But aside from that, because the Oscars, let's be honest, they're not that serious. So to follow along with that unseriousness, I myself will also present my own nominations, my Oscars. So you'll also be seeing that for some of the bigger categories. So without further ado, let's talk about Best Visual Effects. So the nominees are Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. And yeah, out of these five films, I've only seen Dune Part 2 and Wicked. And from the clips and the trailers I've seen of the three other films, I can confidently say that Dune Part 2 is the best one out of the five. And I think Dune Part 2 will win. So that's that. I don't really have a lot of snubs. I guess Hundreds of Beavers may count because I don't. It's not great CGI, but it is great effects in general. Hundreds of Beavers is the film is made in post production. It relies completely in post production. So I wish Hundreds of Beavers would have gotten some kind of recognition for that at least. I guess if I could think of other snubs, it would be Furiosa. And I saw the TV Glow and Problemista are pretty good, but obviously, they're not big action epics, so the Oscars will just ignore them. Okay, Best HMU, or Best Makeup and Hairstyling. We have A Different Man, Emilia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. I don't have a lot of complaints. Pretty solid category. I guess I would replace Emilia Perez with Furiosa. And maybe Monkey Man deserves a mention, honorable. And I am 100% sure The Substance is getting it. The monstro at the end of the movie is absolutely insane. The dangling nipple eyeball will never be erased from my mind. Okay. If you haven't seen The Substance, you're probably like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay, Best Costume Design. Again, pretty solid category. We have A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. I think the Oscars will give it to Wicked. I think for some reason Wicked is like this award season's darling. It's like, ooh, Wicked, so good. But Wicked is overrated as fuck, let's be honest here. And personally, I would give it to Nosferatu. So my pick is Nosferatu, but my prediction is Wicked. And the snubs will include Dune Part 2 and Furiosa. And if there's a wild card, it would be La Chimera. I think the costumes are pretty fun on that one. More fun than A Complete Unknown, at least. And Conclave, they're just wearing cardinal clothes. It's not much of a creative, achievement. Best sound. So best sound, editing and mixing together. Best sound, we have A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, for some fucking reason, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. Oh, they're acknowledging animated films now. I see what you're doing. Yeah, in these five, my pick is easily Dune Part 2. Not even a question. They're nominating A Complete Unknown because there's songs in it. Like, it's so stupid. And Emilia Perez has no right to be here. I guess I would, if I can, I would replace A Complete Unknown and Emilia Perez with Furiosa and Civil War. Other films that I think deserve a mention would be Monkey Man, Challengers, Look Back, and Chime. Especially Look Back, I think animated films require a lot of sound work, and Look Back is a great example. And Chime. I mean, Kurosawa Kiyoshi is a director who really emphasizes sound play. So, I mean, the title of Chime is a sound. Come on. Okay, Best Documentary Feature. So, this is a big one. The nominees are Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, and Sugarcane. And I haven't seen a lot of documentaries this year. Funny enough, in the last 3 days, I watched No Other Land and Black Box Diaries. And I think both of these films are absolutely jaw-dropping, crushing documentaries, and they both deserve to win. But the one that I want to see win the most is, of course, No Other Land. And it's important because the Oscars, mainstream Hollywood, has always sided with the establishment, and the establishment right now is pro-Israel, unfortunately. So if No Other Land wins, it's such a fucking mind blow. So I want No Other Land to win. In fact, I want Gal Gadot to give the award to No Other Land for the extra irony. But honestly, the Oscars are probably going to just play it safe. They're probably just going to give it to soundtrack to a coup d'etat, which I haven't seen. And I guess the snub would be Sperm World, which I haven't seen, but I've heard nothing but great things about this. Okay, I haven't seen any live action shorts and animated shorts, unfortunately, so we'll skip forward to Best Score. So the nominees are The Brutalist by Daniel Blumberg, Conclave by Volker Bertelmann, Emilia Perez by Clément Ducol and Camille, Wicked by John Powell and Stephen Schwartz, and The Wild Robot by Chris Bowers. What a train wreck of a category. Holy shit. Like, okay, The Brutalist by Daniel Blumberg is really good. I like that score. Conclave? Are you serious? This is literally the worst element of that film, is the music. It's so annoying, it's so melodramatic, and it's terrible. Emilia Perez, I do not remember a single score moment in the film. There are songs, but they're not score, they're songs. Wicked, same thing. I remember the songs, but not the score. So here are my nominations. Okay, out of the 5, I think they're giving it to The Brutalist, which is correct. I think The Brutalist is the best one out of the 5. Okay, my nominations would be The Brutalist by Daniel Blumberg, Challengers by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, A Different Man by Umberto Smerilli, Dune Part 2 by Hans Zimmer, and Evil Does Not Exist by Ishibashi Eiko. Both Challengers and Evil Does Not Exist deserve the win, but personally, if I have to choose one, it would be Challengers. Easily the most fun, colorful, out there, and successful scores of the whole year. Now, let's move on to the big 3 technical awards. First one being Best Production Design. Hey, that's my department. The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, Wicked. Out of the 5, I think the one that deserves the most is Dune Part 2. The production design is absolutely insane. Just absolutely every single prop, every single piece of set dressing, every single set construction is just immaculate. But a small part of me thinks the Oscars are going to give it to Wicked. So here are my nominations. Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, Queer. I saw the TV Glow, and Walled In, which is a wild card. So Queer, because apparently they built tons of miniature houses for Queer, which is just immaculate. I saw the TV Glow is one of the most aesthetically accomplished films of 2024. And Walled In, if I had to sneak one Hong Kong film into a category in this year's Oscars, I would sneak Walled In. The production design where they recreated the Kowloon walled city is just brilliant. My honorable mentions include The Substance and Furiosa at Mad Max Saga, and I would personally give it to Dune Part 2. Why is it getting so dark? What is going on? Okay, next up we have Best Editing. The nominees are Anora by Sean Baker, The Brutalist by David Yancho, Conclave by Nick Emerson, Emilia Perez by Juliette Welfling, and Wicked by Myron Kirstein. Again, why is Emilia Perez here? Why is Wicked here? And the Oscars have a really weird relationship with editing because, according to the Oscars, the film with the most editing is the best editing. Woo, there's a lot of cuts, there's a lot of jump cuts, so the editing must be good. But that's literally how a 12-year-old would perceive good editing to be. But that's not what good editing is. Out of the 5, I honestly 100% I'm giving it to Anora. I think the Brutalist editing is also really good. Conclave is okay. A bit, again, the editing in Conclave is a bit dramatic, is a bit too showy for my taste, but it's good. Emilia Perez has no right to be here. Wicked has zero right to be here. So here are my nominations. Anora by Sean Baker, Challengers by Marco Costa, Cloud by Takashi Koichi, A Different Man by Taylor Levi, and Nickel Boys by Nicholas Mansour. And the honorable mentions include The Substance by Coralie Farjat, Jérôme Eltabet, and Valentin Ferron, in Hundreds of Beavers by Mike Cheslick. And I'm giving it to Challengers, of course. Nickel Boys' editing is so intricate and experimental and creative. Why is Emilia Perez nominated over Nickel Boys? And A Different Man, completely shunned out of the Oscars this year, when it is one of the most technically accomplished films of the year. No idea. Okay, here's a biggie. Best Cinematography, the nominees are The Brutalist by Lowell Crawley, Dune Part 2 by Greg Fraser, Emilia Perez by Paul Guillaume, Maria by Edward Lachman, and Nosferatu by Jaron Blaschke. Yeah, 4 of the nominees absolutely deserve to be there. I just don't know what the hell is Emilia Perez doing in Best Cinematography. No idea. The cinematography of Emilia Perez is not bad, don't get me wrong. But there's nothing special about it. There's nothing interesting. There's nothing beautiful about it. Maria is beautiful. Nosferatu, that carriage scene is insane, by the way. The way Jaron Blaschke uses light and shadow. So my pick is Jaron Blaschke for Nosferatu. Personally, I think they'll give it to Dune Part 2. Here are my nominations. The Brutalist, Lowell Crawley. Challengers and Queer, Sayonbu Mukdiprom. Dune Part 2, Greg Fraser. Maria by Edward Lachman. Nosferatu by Jaron Blaschke. The honorable mentions is Nickel Boys by Jomo Frey and Eric Yu for I Saw the TV Glow. And man, I really wish Nickel Boys would be on there, but there are too many other great choices. And personally, I would give it to my man, Sayonbu Mukdiprom, for Challengers and Queer. Okay, Best Animated Feature. This is a pretty lame category because the Oscars do not acknowledge animes. So the nominees are Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. The 5 films, I've only seen one of them, and that is Flow. So my pick is Flow. Not only that, but also Flow is nominated for Best International Picture, so I think there is a really, really high chance that Flow is winning, which is cool. This is a movie made by one guy on Blender. That is admirable. But yeah, of course there are snubs. Look Back, literally my favorite movie of 2024, is not nominated here, because of course. And Mononoke the movie, Phantom in the Rain, because why not? Best Adapted Screenplay, the nominees are A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. My pick is Nickel Boys. I think the way they adapted the script of Nickel Boys, the book, The Nickel Boys, is so interesting. But I'm pretty sure they're going to give it to Conclave. So here are my nominations. Also, I'm expanding the category to 8 nominees. I know 5 is more skim and more competitive, but there are just too many great choices. I'm expanding it to 8 nominees. My nominees for Best Adapted Screenplay is Conclave, Furiosa and Mad Max Saga, Look Back, Mononoke the Movie, Nickel Boys, Nosferatu, Queer, and Sing Sing. and I'm giving it to Nickel Boys. Look Back is my favorite movie here, but in terms of the act of adapting, Nickel Boys is the most interesting one, hands down. Now we have Best Original Screenplay. The nominees are Anora by Sean Baker, The Brutalist by Brady Corbett and Mona Fastvold, A Real Pain by Jesse Eisenberg, September 5 by Mortis Binder and Tim Fellbaum, The Substance by Coralie Farja. Anora is winning. Anora is freaking winning. Honestly, this category is really important because if Anora wins Original Screenplay, it's getting Best Picture. If The Brutalist wins, then The Brutalist is getting Best Picture. But I personally think Anora is winning, and I'm also rooting for Anora. So here are my nominations. All We Imagine Is Light by Payal Kabadia, Anora by Sean Baker, Challengers by Justin Kuritzkis, A Different Man by Aaron Schimberg, Evil Does Not Exist by Hamaguchi Ryusuke, Hard Truths by Mike Lee, I Saw the TV Glow by Jane Schonbrun, and The Substance by Coralie Farja. And a lot of honorable mentions. See the Sacred Fig, Caught by the Tides, The Shrouds, Problemista, and Chime. And if I had to pick a winner, which is impossible here, I would pick a tie between Anora and Challengers. They're both so well written. So insanely well written. It's crazy. So it has to be a tie between Anora and Challengers. Okay, now we have the big ones. The supporting actor, the nominees are Yuri Borisov for Anora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. I'm rooting for Guy Pearce. I think Guy Pearce's performance in The Brutalist is amazing. He steals every single scene. I haven't seen The Apprentice, but I've seen a clip from it, and Jeremy Strong is insanely good as Roy Cohn in The Apprentice. But I think it's already locked in. Kieran Culkin is getting the award. I think that is already pretty much a done deal. Which is cool. Kieran Culkin is a very good actor. Can't really complain. Now for the snubs, I'm definitely gonna put Clarence Divine Eye Macklin in Sing Sing. What a beautiful performance. Completely shut out by the Oscars. Next up, we have Josh O'Connor in Challengers, which is pretty good. Adam Pearson in A Different Man is really good, but he's just playing himself, let's be honest here. Bill Skarsgård in Nosferatu, maybe. Willem Dafoe in Kinds of Kindness, maybe. But yeah, I'm rooting for Guy Pearce. For Best Lead Actress, the nominees are Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon in Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison in Anora, Demi Moore in The Substance, and Fernanda Torres in I'm Still Here. And before yesterday, I was rooting for either Mikey or Demi Moore. But after seeing I'm Still Here, right now, I'm rooting for Fernanda Torres. What an emotional performance. Wow. But the biggest snub here is Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths and Léa Seydoux for The Beast. Both amazingly psychological performances, especially Léa Seydoux's performance, but also Marianne Jean-Baptiste. You know, oh, she's British, so we can't nominate her. Oh. Cynthia Erivo is British, so, Also, Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore in The Room Next Door. Also, I don't know how lenient the Oscars are for voice performances, but I would personally nominate Yumi Kawai in Look Back, maybe Zhao Tao in Caught by the Tides, maybe Isabella Huppert in A Traveler's Needs. Who knows? Okay, Best Lead Actor. I completely forgot about Best Supporting Actress. I don't know why. Monica Barbero, A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones, The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini in Conclave, and Zoe Saldana in Emilia Perez. Isabella Rossellini all the way. They might give it to Zoe Saldana. I just don't think Zoe Saldana would deserve that. I think Isabella Rossellini is a legend, and the Oscar should give it to Isabella Rossellini. Snubs include Margaret Qualley in The Substance, and maybe Tilda Swinton in Problemista, maybe Usha Siamkum, the grandma, in How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. But I think Isabella Rossellini should win. Okay, Best Actor. Adrian Brody in The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet in A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo in Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes in Conclave, and Sebastian Stan in The Apprentice. And yeah, pretty solid category. I enjoy all 5 of these performances. Timothy Chalamet is a really good actor. I just don't think his portrayal of Bob Dylan is good. So let's put that out of the way. I'm rooting for Coleman Domingo 100%. But I think the Oscars will give it to Adrien Brody. That's my prediction. Honorable mentions include Sebastian Stan again for A Different Man, maybe Suda Masaki in Cloud, maybe Richard Gere in O Canada, maybe Vincent Cassel in The Shrouds. But Coleman Domingo all the way. What a beautifully vulnerable performance. Okay, now we have Best International Picture. Emilia Perez for France, Flo for Latvia, The Girl with the Needle for Denmark, I'm Still Here for Brazil, and The Seed of the Sacred Fig for Germany. I'm rooting for The Seed of the Sacred Fig, but honestly, I think the Oscars will give it to I'm Still Here, which is just as deserving of a win. And I think I'm Still Here is winning. They're not, after all that controversy, I don't think they can give it to Emilia Perez anymore. I don't think they can. Okay, my nominations. Again, my nominations will expand it to 10 entries. So my nominees are All We Imagine Is Light for India. How the hell did this not get nominated? Caught by the Tides from China, Evil Does Not Exist from Japan, Flow from Latvia, The Girl with the Needle from Denmark, How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies from Thailand, Look Back from Japan, I'm Still Here from Brazil, The Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany, and Universal Language from Canada. Honorable mentions include The Beast from France, Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World from Romania, La Chimera from Italy, and Walled In from Hong Kong. And I'm giving it to Look Back, of course. Okay, Best Director. Sean Baker, Anora, Brady Corbett, The Brutalist, James Mangold, for some reason, A Complete Unknown, Jacques Audiard, for some reason, for Emilia Perez, and Coralie Farja for The Substance. Sean Baker all the way. 100% absolute cinema, Sean Baker all the way. And I think they'll give it to Sean Baker. Again, this depends on who the Best Picture will be. If Sean Baker wins, then Anora wins Best Picture. If Brady Corbett wins directing, then The Brutalist is winning. But yeah, it's between those two. My nominees are Sean Baker for Anora, Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, Kurosawa Kiyoshi for Cloud, Luca Guadagnino for Challengers, Aaron Schimberg for A Different Man, Hamaguchi Ryusuke for Evil Does Not Exist, Mike Lee for Hard Truths, Jane Schoenbrun for I Saw the TV Glow, Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys, and Coralie Farja for The Substance. And I'm giving it to, even though Anora is more, I like Anora a little more than Challengers, but in terms of directing, in terms of the blocking, the performances, the scenes, it's Guadagnino. It is Guadagnino. Honorable mentions include David Cronenberg for The Shrouds, Robert Eggers for Nosferatu, Jajangka's Caught by the Tides, Pedro Almodovar's The Room Next Door, David Cheslick for Hundreds of Beavers, Payal Kapadia for All We Imagine Is Light, and Yorgos Lanthimos for Kinds of Kindness. Now we have Best Picture. The big one, Big Boy Award. So here are the nominees. Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. And, you know what? I'm going to say my nominations first, right? If I could nominate 10 films to be nominated for Best Picture, my nominees would be Anora, Challengers, Evil Does Not Exist, Hundreds of Beavers, Look Back, Nickel Boys, I Saw the TV Glow, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, Sing Sing, and The Substance. And my favorite movie out of the bunch is Look Back. But if you're looking for a more, I guess, on a more technical level, I think Anora should win, actually. And honorable mentions include A Different Man, How to Make Millions, and Problemista. So now I'm going to rank all 10 of the Best Picture nominees. I have finally finished all of them, which, by the way, I've probably seen more movies than the average Academy voter at this point. So, number 10, Emilia Perez. This movie is straight ass. It has no right to be nominated. The script is a mess, the songs are terrible, and the story is very insensitive. I don't know why is it here. Number 9, A Complete Unknown. This is just a very bland and drab musical biopic. There's nothing interesting about it, and it's not even historically accurate. Number 8, Wicked. Don't get me wrong, it is an entertaining, fun musical, but it's nowhere near good enough to be nominated for Best Picture. Nowhere. Number 7, Conclave. It is a fun movie, don't get me wrong, but again, I think that's the extent of it. There's nothing inherently deep or insightful about Conclave, and it's too overdramatic. It's too overdramatic for its own good. It's a little bit too, I guess, into itself. Number 6, it's Dune Part 2. A lot of people may hate me. Oh my god, Dune Part 2 is the best movie of the year. I think on a technical level, I think Dune Part 2 is a masterpiece. But the story is still kind of lacking for me. I just don't relate to the characters that much. So, yeah, unfortunately, not a huge one. I think a lot of people will be mad for me for placing The Brutalist at number 5. But yeah, The Brutalist is number 5 for me. I just think, I liked it quite a bit at first, but the more I think about The Brutalist, the more I just think that it's too long for its own good. This movie is a 2-hour film stretched into a 3-hour, 40-minute film. It doesn't have to be that long. So, the performances are great. The premise is fantastic. I love the editing and the cinematography. It's just that the story just dragged on too much. Number 4, I'm Still Here, one of the most powerful political statements of the year. Easily number 4. Number 3, equally powerful, Nickel Boys. Definitely Nickel Boys. Number 2 is The Substance, which I think the Oscars don't like horror. The fact that The Substance got nominated is already huge. But personally, I would rank The Substance at number 2. And my favorite out of the 10 films, Anora. 100%. No questions asked in terms of storytelling, in terms of cinematography, in terms of editing, the music, the whole vibe of the thing, the positivity, the insane energy of the whole thing is just overflowing. I mean, this movie won a Palme d'Or. What more reason do you need? An American Palme d'Or winner? When is the last time that happened? Was it the Coens? Soderbergh? Like, this is huge. So give it to Anora. Please give it to Anora. So yeah, these are my Oscars predictions for this year. What are yours? Comments below, let me know. Subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. I am so hot right now. Oh my god.